Chrono Odyssey might have just gotten delayed, and after the bad reception of it, honestly, it might be the right choice. Should you actually be looking forward to this, or will they make the same mistakes that they did before? And this is some sort of misrepresentation of the actual situation. Let's see. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content. Go to my Twitch to watch me live every morning, and let's get into it. So this post comes from an update they did about what they want in the next closed beta. And here someone asks any news on when we will see an update for the team on what's changed from the first beta going into the second closed beta. And the CEO comes to us and says, great questions. Instead of a developer blog, we'll be posting an official update directly on the Chrono Odyssey website. And we'll go through that right now. It will include detailed changes and improvements based on feedback from the first beta test. As for the second beta test, we currently do not have a confirmed date, and we can't guarantee whether it will happen within this year. That's such an important quote, because this game was supposed to come out this year on Q4. Not the closed beta, but the whole game, according to Kakao Games. So the fact that they don't even know whether this is gonna come out in beta this year is very, very telling. And in my opinion, it essentially confirms that we're not gonna get this game this year. But considering the whole problems that the game had on beta, I think it's a very good idea to actually delay it. This is something that I said way before we actually had the beta, because of just looking at how the game played and the lighting issues, the performance issues, the animations, and how low quality it was. There was just no way that this was actually gonna come out in 2025. But what are they actually changing about the game? First, they're actually talking here about hit feedback inconsistency. A lot of the time in the game, maybe because of servers, according to them, and packets and how they're sent between the server and you, it would feel like you would hit something, but the damage and the actual hit would not happen until later. There's a little bit of like a disconnection. And they're trying their best to actually fix this and address it. They're also gonna tackle class weapons, as according to them, they didn't have enough variety in terms of builds. And they're gonna give this new system called the Matrix, where essentially you have 4 progression paths per weapon. The thing is, we already had something like this. Every weapon would have a little bit of a tree, and I'm not quite sure how they're gonna make it. So I'm guessing every one of the blades, every one of the weapons will get 3 versions of this tree with different abilities and stuff. That could be very interesting depending on the type of playstyle you want. I like the idea. We will have to wait and see, but according to a lot of people that play the beta, and I would probably agree with them, as I also played, it felt a lot of the time like there was not that many choices to actually go through here. There was not that many different playstyles. You would always go more or less for the same idea, and the gameplay was very, very similar on each weapon. So something like this would be very, very cool. And this is actually exactly what they're saying. Our goal is a wide range of play styles. That's what they want, and I think it's a good goal to have. They also want to create new animations to ensure each weapon feels distinct and expressive in combat. They don't talk about this too much in this post, but a big problem I think a lot of people have with this game is that the animations feel poor. They feel low quality. They feel clunky. And even though they're creating new animations, are they actually gonna fix the old ones? We might see this in another post soonish, but I didn't see this right here, so I would probably criticize a little bit. I think it's very important for the game to feel like it's a game instead of just a ball made out of reused assets from Unreal Engine 5. They're also fixing the camera, as it would have very weird issues like an abrupt screen change when changing targets, camera getting too close to the target during melee combat, camera reset after combat, skills being based on the direction of the player is facing rather than the cameras. This was very, very annoying when I played, especially on something like bow. You would like, get your bow ready, shoot it, and then move to start attacking something else, and the arrow would just go to the other side. It was crazy. It made no sense. Whatever. I'm glad that they're fixing it. Controls. To enhance the overall feel of combat, we're redesigning hit reactions by increasing the reaction duration from 1 to 2 seconds. This provides clearer timing for follow-up attacks and adds a greater sense of risk and reward when taking damage or landing hits. That sounds good. The combat should feel better. We'll see if this changes actually accomplish that or not, but we're also reviewing and fixing unnatural character movements and collisions inconsistencies that cause characters to appear as it's floating. That seems a little bit vague. I'm guessing what they mean is that it almost feels like they're not in the floor and the way that the movement works. I'm not sure if they actually mean that the animations themselves are gonna change overall, or just the floating sensation. Definitely the floating sensation is very important, but I really hope that they go further than just that. But they might just not communicate at that particularly, and they do want to do that, which would be ideal. I don't want double jumps like this anymore, okay? Like this, that's crazy. They also talk about performance and optimization. I'm not gonna go through the entire thing because, well, it's very technical stuff. What you should know is that they're working on actually changing the way that the game works, so it doesn't load as many things that are not needed, so your computer doesn't burn itself up. Okay, I think it makes sense, and I think that's how optimization always works. They just find things that are not needed to be loaded, that are not needed to be rendered. They make them not use your computer because they're not needed, and then your game works better. This also applies into making the game look better. You can see it right here. By improving ocean surface shaders and wave rendering, we aim to enhance realism while minimizing GPU load. They're working on improving overall screen quality. They're also working on adding DLSS and FSR to enhance both performance and visual quality to upscale. Now, I do think this can be useful, and it's a thing that should be in games just as an option. But the problem is that games like Monster Hunter Wilds have used this to justify them not having good optimization. Because the game doesn't have optimization, you just run the game at 30 FPS and you upscale to 60, so the game is like watchable. But this is not an actual answer. What you should be doing is to actually optimize the game. And I'm not saying that Chrono Odyssey is doing this, but I really hope that they're not being like, okay, we can really optimize this game correctly, so let's just give them double frames so they can play it regardless. I hope that's not what they're doing, and I'm not gonna give them the benefit of the doubt either, but we'll have to see. And for the most important one, we're reducing unnecessary lighting calculations by removing unused lights and limiting the excessive use of stationary and movable lights. Considering the horrible lighting issues the game had, this will be very, very good, and I really hope that they do a good job at it, because I think the game could look very, very nice without the lighting issues. We're gonna have to wait a lot to see how this actually works, but I'm definitely interested to see what happens. That being said, there's one weird question that I have here is, they're saying that they're gonna fix all these things, but weren't they the ones that said that this was an old build and the new build didn't have a lot of these issues? Why are they fixing it then? Right here, for example, we can see some gameplay of this new version, and it doesn't look like it has all of these issues. I'm sure they have some of them, but the lighting looks way better. And it just makes me think, how much of this is something that they're actually fixing? And how much is it already done? And they're gonna be like, well, look at all the changes that we made. But they already had done them. Or did they lie about the actual new build? It's a very weird situation, and I'm not really sure what to think. But I think this is one of those games that, as I think a lot of other creators have said, has a lot of potential. But potential doesn't really mean anything. In other ways, every MMO has a lot of potential. From Ion to Bless to World of Warcraft, they all have so much they could do, but that doesn't mean that they're actually gonna do it. Whether the game will be pay to win, whether the game will not be fun to play in terms of combat, it's just, potential is not enough. It has to be there. And I think we saw this with the closed beta. I really hope the best for Chrono Odyssey, but at the same time, I'm also not gonna be putting my entire hopes in this game. I'm definitely gonna check what's gonna happen, and I'm gonna make more videos about it because I want it to succeed, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna put all my chips there and get super disappointed if it's not good. I'm definitely gonna be super happy, and I will be excited because I think you can have excitement in a healthy manner, but that's all it's gonna be. And I really, really hope that people don't, especially if they go into like a closed beta test that nobody else can play, don't start making videos on how insanely good the game is when it's just potential. At the end of the day, a lot of the bad things that people thought about this game, or a lot of the hype, just made the game completely get destroyed once it actually came out. And I think the people that talked about this game this way should be indeed held responsible for what they did, because, well, even though they're saying good things now, most people will not believe them anymore. I'm very excited to check the part 2 of this post when they talk about combat systems, technical disabilities, graphics, animations, sound, UI, gameplay flexibility, in-game guidance, balance, content flow, progression, replayability, social features, narrative, serviceability, and bug fixes. And considering that the CEO just keeps talking about their game in their Twitter and responding to a lot of feedback, I think they're really going the best way they can in terms of communication. Is that communication gonna transform into an actual change? We'll have to see, but I think they're doing a good job at this. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content. Go to my Twitch to watch me live every morning. See you guys around. Love you all. Ciao, ciao.